Well, good morning, welcome to July's vlog. You find me back on the front lake on Braxted, back in that swim where I had a couple of fish from at the end of last month. Yeah, interesting start to the day. Got into the car park 10 to 6, I think I've said before you're allowed in at 5:45, and there were 5 cars already in the car park. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, today. But yeah, one guy was going up on the res, and one guy was going up on the back lake, or down on the back lake behind me. And I planned to go on the front lake, as did the other 3 people. So obviously I'm now 4th in line for the front lake, which yeah, isn't so great. But anyway, got the stuff out of the car, 6 o'clock, off we go. And fortunately the other 3 guys on the front lake have all gone up the other end. So I've dropped into that same swim I was in before. Maybe they know something I don't, but hey, I'm happy to come in this swim. I've already seen a fish off to my left in a roped off area that you can't fish, so at least there's one fish down here, if nothing else. So yeah, quickly got the stuff off the barrow to set the rods up, and yeah, no buzzers. No bait sticks or buzzers, they're all in my buzz bag at home. So fortunately I'm close to home. If I was on my syndicate I'd be stuffed, but yeah, I went up and had a word with a guy. I said, look, I'm going home to get my buzzers, just keep an eye on my stuff. Obviously if someone turns up and they want to go in a swim, let them in there. But yeah, so left my swim at 6:10 and was back in it at 7:15, and no one else had turned up, and by 7:10 both rods were out on their spots. I know the wraps for the spots from the last time I fished it, so probably the quickest I ever get set up fishing. So yeah, we'll see what happens today. I mean, there's on and off quite a lot of rain forecast for today. England are playing tonight, so that's why I didn't think many people would be here today. But I mean, a couple of people I've spoken to who are here have already said, oh no, we're off at lunchtime. So they're just here for a morning bite if anything feeds. So we'll see what happens. I'll update the vlog maybe later in the day, or maybe just before I go. Anyway, catch up with you later on. Okay, here we go. So going to wrap up the vlog early today. Yeah, it's only 6:30, but going to go home and watch the football as England are playing tonight. So yeah, bit of a well, definitely a frustrating morning. Yeah, just got breamed out this morning. I mean, if I say I've had 20 bream, I'll probably be underestimating. I just could not keep the rods in the water this morning. I can only assume someone fished a swim yesterday and put a lot of particle or pellet out there, and yeah, the bream were just on it. I mean, one time I cast the rod out, didn't even get the rod on the rest before bream was on the bait again. So yeah, couple of frustrating hours this morning with bream, and yeah, no carp runs today. Seen the odd fish down here, not many. There's only been one fish out today. That was John the bailiff. He's fishing halfway up the lake. He had a 21 pounder 7 o'clock this morning, he said it was. But yeah, most people have gone home now. There's John and one other person on, and yeah, nobody else had anything. Nothing came out the back lake today. But yeah, this lake's fishing hard at the moment, so sadly nothing to start the first session in July. But yeah, going forwards next week, well, not originally, I have booked Wednesday and Thursday off work to go to the syndicate. However, should England win tonight, it means they play Wednesday night, so I'll probably then do the syndicate Thursday night and Friday night, which means Wednesday is not a wasted day because I'll find something to do, but I may come over here and just do a morning up on the res just to catch a couple of fish. God, I thought we were going to get a run then as we're wrapping the vlog up, but no. Anyway, yeah, so I may do something Wednesday morning I mean, if England lose tonight, I'll be on the Syndicate Wednesday when I log on to the vlog. But either way, I shall log on and update the vlog Wednesday. Till then, see you later. Well, good morning, welcome to the vlog. As I said when I wrapped up on Saturday, if England had won, I wouldn't be going up to the Syndicate on this morning, and England did win, so I haven't gone to the Syndicate. Plan was to go up onto the res and just catch a few fish. That said, I've got here and there's always fizzing out on this back lake at Braxted early morning. Could well be tench, but I just thought I'd drop in here, just do probably 2 hours on here, 6 till 8, see, well, if I can get a run, as I say, it may be a tench, it may not, and then go up to the res. What I've got here, there's only one other car in the car park. Spoke to the chap there and he's tench fishing on this lake as well. So since I've got here, I've heard one other car pull up and no one's come past me, which means they've gone up to the res. So yeah, plan is, as I say, 2 hours on here and then up to the res. The only issue today is setting up the Nash barra, and it's happened once before. One of the connectors doesn't quite go in properly, and the last time it happened, the pin had bent and I managed to straighten the pin out. But today, yeah, the connector didn't go in, I didn't force it. As I'm literally 50 yards from the car park, I just flung everything onto the barra, just pushed it up here, put the rods out. Now having looked with glasses on and actually taking photos of the connector as well, just to try and see what's happening there. One of the pins has broken. It's a really bad design, 6 skinny little pins, so easy not to line them up, and yeah, it's bent over, and I've tried straightening it up with a baiting needle, and not only is it not straightening up, I think a part of it's snapped off. So the push up to the res later is going to be a real ball breaker, and even worse tomorrow on the Syndicate. I'm dreading that, pushing the barra. It is what it is. There's no way that's going to get repaired even quickly. I'm sure it won't, but I'll fish today, I'll fish tomorrow and Friday. I'll probably make a call to Total Tackle where I get all my stuff from, and they're quite good, look after me. Hopefully they can sort something out so I'm not without a barra for too long. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first person to have bent one of those pins, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, I'll update the vlog. I mean, in the unlikely event if I catch a fish on here in the next 2 hours with a fish, I mean, this lake is so hard. I've said before, people fish it all year and don't catch. A good year on here is 1 fish, but the reason people fish it is there's a big common in here. He came out at 50 pounds 2 years ago, and I think he came out at 48 last year. So it's very hush hush. Even when he does come out, it's 2 months before anyone hears about it. So yeah, not expecting a catch on here, but just thought I'd give it a go for a couple of hours and then we'll be up on the res. So see you at some point later in the day. Okay, so we're up on the res now. I'm the only one up here. It's 9:10. Stayed down the bottom till, well, as I said, till 8 o'clock. I mean, interestingly, a fish crashed on the lake behind me. So at one point I had a rod on each lake. I'm not sure that's technically allowed with the club. That said, I'm like 15 yards apart still, the rods were, even though I was on different lakes. But yeah, nothing occurred on there. There was still the fizzing on the second lake, but solid PVA bag and nothing. So yeah, not sure what that was. So I've come up onto the res, not in a swim. I was going to go in a swim that I like fishing down from here, but stopped in the first swim. The wind's hacking into this corner again, and a couple of fish showed. So quickly put a bag out, a solid PVA bag out, and then spommed well, the idea was to spom 10 spoms out to another spot that I know, but as the second one went out, the first rod went off, and little 15-pound common in there. So I've put that back out on a solid bag, but as always happens on here, coming up that late in the day, you've missed that morning feed. I think I've said before, between certainly 7 and 8 o'clock is a really good hour on here. I don't know why, but 7 AM to 8 AM the fish always feed, and then it dies off. So you know, I've come up here hoping to nick 4 or 5 fish. I'm fishing on till 2 o'clock. I was going to fish till lunchtime, but then I thought, yeah, lunchtime the roads get busy again, so I may as well sit here for another hour, pack up at 2 o'clock and chip off home, get the rest of the gear ready to go up to Syndicate tomorrow for a couple of nights, and hopefully watch England win football tonight. So yeah, I won't carry on with this at this point. I'll wrap the vlog up just before I go. Hopefully I've had a couple more fish. I may photograph something if I get a, well, if I get a 20-pounder I'll photograph it, but unlikely to photograph anything else, but we'll see. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to wrap up the vlog today. Not a successful carp day as it goes. It's yeah, it's just been a weird day. Couldn't keep a rod in the water, but not for carp. I've had tench, massive roach, rudd. Literally, as soon as the rod hits the water, within 5 minutes you get a take. If you don't put a PVA bag on or a PVA stick on the other one, nothing happens. Put a PVA stick on or a solid bag and it just rips off with anything but carp. So yeah, a lot of fish today, but only the one carp this morning, and that was that 15-pound common. So I think the highlight of the day was a duck with its 3 ducklings eating some of my pellet that I dropped. So yeah, but yeah, tomorrow I shall be leaving home probably sometime between 3 and 4 in the morning, and see you on the Syndicate, hopefully for 48 hours and a fish, if that would be nice. Anyway, speak to you then. Well, good morning, welcome to the vlogs. As I said yesterday, up on Long Lake today. Left home a little bit late, couldn't get out of bed this morning, don't know why, so left home at 4:15 instead of 4. Travelling down the M11 towards the M25, and there's signs M25 closed. I was just thinking, not again. Then just before my exit of the M11, it was saying M25 junction 27 south problems, and quickly trying to work out what junction I go on to the M25. I thought it's irrelevant, if it's south I'm going to go north, so fine. So yep, down onto the M25. As soon as I get on it, it's telling me M25's closed between junction 25 and 26. I know I've got to pass those junctions because that's the junctions I would turn off when I used to fish Carthagena. So I'm dreading my journey now. So heading along, getting closer and closer to junction 26, still saying the same. There's no traffic, there's no signs to turn off. So yeah, stayed on the motorway, kept going. It's still giving me the signs to say that the road's closed. My sat-nav, even though I'm not using it, is bleeping to tell me the road's closed, and yeah, long story short, it wasn't. So anyone who turned off just did it for nothing, just bad signage on the M25 again and leading up to it. Anyway, so the upshot of that was a really good journey here, then getting the car park, and there's only one car in the car park. So I guess everyone was at home last night like myself watching England play. So quickly unloaded, walked round the lake, could see where the other guy was set up. I didn't recognise the car as it goes, so walked around to have a chat with him. And as I'm getting into his swim, he's playing a fish. So turns out it's a guy, Stuart, that well, he's been a member on here back from when I was first a member. So helped him with his landing net and bits and bobs, and yeah, he landed a nice 18-pounder, I think it was. And I had a quick chat with him. He said, yeah, he got here last night, the only one here. He never saw anything, so he plotted up in a swim that he's been putting some bait in, and that's where he's had the fish this morning. So I had a quick wander around, didn't see any fish. So I've dropped back in that swim where I finished up a month ago on here when I woke up in the morning and they were spawning, or they woke me up in the morning because they were spawning. So one spot I'm back on, it's still clear, nice gravel but weed just by it. And the other spot that I fished last time over to the plateau, really weedy over there. So I found another nice spot close in, nice clear spot, easy to present your bait on, weed just behind it. So yeah, rods are on the dance floor, I think fishing well. And I'm going to sit here. Like normal, I haven't set anything up yet, but I am, at the moment, I'm quite happy probably to sit on these spots. But we'll see as the day goes on. I'm probably update the vlog, as I always say, later if I have a fish, or tomorrow morning, just to let you know what's gone on. But yeah, 48 hours I've got, so hopefully can nick a fish. Speak to you soon. Well, good morning, welcome back. 30 hours on from yesterday, and yeah, nothing's happened. Fished a bit old school really. The rods were on two really good clear spots around weed and everything, so haven't moved them. Just thought let's leave them there, leave the water undisturbed, and see how that pans out on this very tricky water. When I say old school, I mean you think back to the what would it have been, early to mid 80s. We used to use Dacron hook links, notorious for tangling on the cast. So you'd rock up I used to fish Pippinfords, 5 lakes in a forest, and yeah, you'd get there, rush there after work on a Friday, cast out, wind them in Sunday lunchtime, sometimes Sunday afternoon, and yeah, both your rods, or all 3 rods we used to use, they'd all been tangled for the whole weekend. You was never catching a fish. But yeah, thankfully we've moved on from then, and rigs don't really tangle that often. They still tangle occasionally, but generally they don't tangle that often. So I was comfortable to sit on those for 24 hours or 30 hours so far, and another hour till I'm packed away. So happy to leave those rigs out like that. Ultimately I'm going to pull off early. I should be pulling off really this time tomorrow, but I've got bits and bobs I need to do. I've not seen a fish this morning. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Nothing showing. A bit like when I got here yesterday, nothing was showing. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it, and at the end of the day I go fishing for pleasure, and sometimes it's not a pleasure anymore. Like now, I'm sitting here not feeling that any fish are going to feed. I feel like I'm wasting my time, so I'm going to wrap up a bit earlier than I would have done. Not sure what I do next week, if anything, and wherever I go when I go next time, I'll just update the vlog and hopefully catch some fish to show on film. So yeah, thanks for watching. It's probably been a bit boring so far this month, but hopefully see you next week or the week after with some fish. Good morning and welcome to the vlog. Find me on Braxted Front Lake again. It's not what was planned. I was going to do 48 hours with my son at Crown Lakes in Peterborough, which is the Korda or embryo syndicate that we're both members of, but haven't fished yet. That said, with the hot weather, there's just been so many problems up there. I mean, guys who are fishing it, putting on little videos on the Facebook page of people on lilos out in the lake, and people having barbecues and parties in the swims. I mean, at the end of the day, although Korda lease the water and put the fish in there, it's a country park and you can't stop the general public being in there. And yeah, it's just not been good. It's, you know, fortunately it's only a cheap syndicate. It's only £90 a year, and with that, my son and I have said perhaps it's a autumn / winter / early spring water, and just leave the park alone for the rest of the year, when you're going to have all the general public just getting on your nerves basically. So yeah, he's he's probably gone to his club lake, to be honest. I mean, he went there last week, had a great session there on a lake that he likes, this particular lake. But 48 hours one fish is good on there, he says. And this last week he went there and he had 4 fish in a 24-hour session. I think it was £17, £19, £24, and a new personal best, £35 mirror, which is really nice, chunky fish. So that was a really good session. So I suspect he's gone back there, and I'm here for the day trying to get one of these 4 30-pounders out that are in this lake. Feeling pretty confident today. I'm in a swim I've not fished before, but the club, for the first time since COVID started, have opened up the far bank, or not the far bank, the opposite bank to where I normally fish. And because it's only a metre wide, they just wouldn't open this bank up, so everybody's been fishing from the far side over to this side. Now this side's reopened. Also what happened, sorry I missed a bit there, the reason people were fishing this side, because the other side used to be margin fishing like this side was. However, the fish soon learned that no one could fish this side, and they just all pushed over this side, so everybody had to cast from the far side to this side. And now this side's open, the normal club rule returns, you can't cast over halfway. So I'm probably in a swim that hasn't been fished for 18 months. And I'm quite excited. There's a rope off to my left. The fish are always behind that rope as well. What hasn't helped, a big willow tree has fallen in, and certainly in the last couple of weeks. That wasn't there a couple of weeks ago when I was here. So now not only do the fish know they're safe behind the rope, they've also got a nice snaggy tree to sit in. That said, I've got my left hand rod. It's cast off to my left towards snags, and it's in 6 foot of water. Nice clear spot, so I can use my favourite rig, KD rig, with a little wafter on there. I'm feeding a little, just off to my right there's a snag tree, and literally, well, it's 1 rod length out, but you've got 6 foot of water there, it's clear under there, so I'm just going to keep trickling baits onto there, because later in the day the sun will move around that way and we'll get some warmth in these margins, so that'll be a spot for tonight. Until then I'm fishing probably 2, maybe 3 rod lengths out, 10 foot on the top of a gravel bar. So I'm pretty confident with the fishing, and if I have something I'll update this middle of the day or later in the day. If I don't, I'll just update it at the end of the day when I'm getting ready to pack up, or before the lights go in. So have a good day, and see you later on. Okay, welcome back. Gonna wrap up the vlog now. Hopefully the sound's alright. When I was setting up this morning, for some reason the external mic that I normally use didn't work, so I'm back down to the GoPro sound, which isn't always the greatest. If you've watched any of my early vlogs, and before I had the mic, the volume was always different levels and everything, but hopefully it's alright today anyway. So yeah, not a bad day, not a bad day at all really. Put that rod out to the left, as I said, had the right hand rod out on that little gravel bar, 3 rod lengths out or whatever it was, and kept baiting this inside line, which is, it's half a rod length out. About 10 o'clock there was fizzing just a bit further than the gravel bar. I was watching that and thinking about moving the rod a bit further out. I noticed out the corner of my eye the distinctive pattern that you get on the top of the water when a fish has got his head down feeding, and it's using his tail to keep him in that position. So I stood up to wind that rod in and spook that fish off, but nevertheless I wound the rod in, dropped it down on the spot, and it's 10 minutes before I had a run on that, and that was a 15-pound mirror. I actually photographed that fish because, one, I thought it was a pretty fish, and 2, you don't get many mirrors in this lake. So all that said, I set the tripod up and everything, and it was all should have been all right for the photo, and then knocked it over as I was carrying the fish over to the unhooking mat. Just stood it up and set it taking photos, and when I've looked back I've chopped my head off again. But you know, it doesn't matter, you know what I look like, and it's the fish we want to see, not me. So that was that. Put the rod back on the same spot. I've kept feeding it throughout the day. 1 o'clock had another run on that rod. If I'd lost that fish, I would have said I had a huge fish on. 25 minutes to get in. It was snagged up once, but managed to get it out. And yeah, it was a 20 pound 2 ounce common, and again I photographed it as the tripod was set up and everything. So that was good. I felt like I should have had more fish off of that spot, and then literally 10 minutes ago I've just had an aborted take. Hanger all the way to the top, tip started to bend around, started to turn it and just dropped it and spat everything out. And strangely wound it in. There was quite a large, not twig, sort of small branch around everything. I mean, I don't understand it. I've checked that spot this morning and I've had 2 fish of it and there were no branches down there, but nonetheless there was a branch around it. Good thing about those takes is I definitely don't remember last time I caught fish on a bottom bait. They're normally wafters or pop-ups, so a bottom bait, and also the blowback rig. I don't think I've used that for 4 years. Last time I can remember catching carp on that was in France 4 years ago. And I was going to say I don't know why I stopped using it. I do, because I started using the KD rig and really like the way they nail the fish. And then a lot of the fish waters I fish are quite weedy, so I've ended up fishing pop-ups. And I think I've got a bit blinded, and first thing is to put a pop-up out, when actually if I can put a bottom bait out, I'll return to putting bottom baits out. Anyway, that's it for today. I've got probably another hour on here before I pull off, and then next Saturday I can, yeah, I've got a day's fishing. I may be over here again. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do, but it'll be the 31st of July, so I'll wrap the vlog up with a day somewhere, and that'll be it. So see you then. Thanks for watching. Well, good morning, and welcome to my vlog again. As I suspected, find me on the front lake at Braxton again. I'm in that swim. Basically I'm opposite where I normally fish on the other side before this bank was open, and I was casting across to a tree just to my left, and a patch which I never knew. Basically you had to cast towards an overhanging willow, just clipped the edge of the willow, and when you fell or hit the water you had a firm drop. So when I've come in this morning I've literally done one little flick with the mark, and you've got 6 foot on gravel there. So that's a spot where I've had a lot of tench, a lot of bream, but I have had carp from. And then that left hand spot, and I'm sat away from my rods because it is literally 6 foot out from me, and you're on 4 foot. You just come off gravel onto a little bit of clay, and yes, I flicked one onto there as well. A few baits around it. On the way here I knew I wanted to be in this swim. Got a westerly wind, albeit it's the 3rd day of it, but whenever I've been on the other side of the lake with a westerly blowing at this end, there's always been fish over here. I've not always caught, I mean, don't get me wrong, but there are fish over here. And I think I've said before, you come here early morning for 6 o'clock start, fish never show early morning, so you've got to go on your hunches. There's 3 of us on this lake today. There's one chap on the opposite side, 3 or 4 swims along from me diagonally, and then the 2 bailiffs, John and Mark, and they've gone up the far end. John's in the swim where I had the couple of fish last week from, and Mark's in the swim next to him. Like I say, they're both bailiffs and both friends, so it was quite nice when I got in the car park today. I knew if they were fishing they'd be here before me. Quite nice to ask them where they're going, and they're going up the far end of this lake. The guy who's on the opposite side to me wasn't here yet, and the only other 2 people in the lake were going up to the res. So I haven't even set the barrier up. I've just walked everything here because it's, I guess, 50 yards from the car, so 3 nice light trips. I'm here. Rods were fishing by 20 past 6, I guess it was. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I've already had some liners on that right hand rod, but again, that's probably bream or tench out there already. So we'll see how it goes. It's the 31st of July, so we'll wrap up the vlog today, hopefully with a fish or two, but we'll see. That's the plan. Conditions are quite good today, quite low pressure. The odd shower's going to come in later on, but generally a bit windy and just overcast, so perfect carp conditions. Hopefully when I'm wrapping up later on, I've had a couple of fish. Speak to you in a bit. Okay, so let's wrap the vlog up then. Not been the best day. I've not even seen a carp down this end. Lots of bream rolling. The guy opposite me was using solid PVA bags and got hounded by bream. Every time I put bait out on the right hand rod, I'd get bream trying to take my baits. Fortunately, I'm fishing 20mm bottom baits with a 12mm pop up on top, snowman style, so whilst the bream try to pick the bait up, they can't. It's on a blowback rig, so you know it's not going to get tangled, and it's still fishing when the bream move out. The other thing that's happened, I mean, the bailiff who's fishing up next to John has already gone home. He's walked past me probably half an hour ago, said he's had enough. John's in the very last swim. John's had 3 fish, one of them a 32 pounder, so that's probably the second biggest fish in here. 37's the biggest, and he's had nothing. He said because they're bailiffs, they walked up by that. I think last time I was here I did a photograph of the big willow tree that's blown into the water. They walked up to that and they counted 40 to 50 carp around there, around the tree. Well, that's probably 95% of the carp in this lake, which is probably why I've not seen any today and definitely not caught any today. So one of the reasons also why I'm pulling off a bit early, you know, if they're all up there, hardly worth sitting here for another couple of hours, giving it a good go. Obviously John's staying up there because the odd fish that is coming out of the willow tree gets to him first, so he's staying up there to see if he can get some more. So that really wraps up July. It wasn't the greatest month. I'm not sure I even did a lot of fishing, to be honest. I think I've done a couple of day sessions on here. I may have done one night on the syndicate. Yeah, I don't think I've fished a lot this month, not this year. And maybe I think I've had 2 fish out of here and 1 up on the res. That's about it. So August, I don't know, really I need to get back on the syndicate. If I'm totally honest, I find it hard at the moment. The effort don't get the rewards they should do, and certainly although the occasional fish is coming out up there, they're coming out now just to the regulars who can get along, bait a couple of times a week, then fish it, and even they don't, you know, they're not catching perhaps one weekend out of a month or one session in a month, and they're baiting up all the time. The exception to that rule is Chris, who does 3 nights a week, who can't get up there and bait up. But I think he did 21 nights and then had a fish. He's now done either 3 or 4 weeks without a fish, so 12 nights without a fish. So yeah, I will get back there because I need to get my head around there and give it a bit more effort, but yeah, it's hard work at the moment. So we'll see what happens next month. I've definitely got a barbel trip booked because my friend Darren has never caught a barbel, so I've said I'll take him for a guest on the 7 and see if we can get him a fish. So we'll have at least one barbel trip next month. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks to my subscribers, 72 we're up to. Hopefully you enjoy this month's vlog, albeit not a lot of fish. See you next month.